Hello beautiful YouTubers, this is SoftAussieSpeaker here, and I thought that I would make another video that's a bit longer. I had a couple of people saying they wanted some longer videos, so I thought I would do one for about half an hour, and I didn't really know what to do for the half an hour video, so I just thought I'm reading this Road User's Handbook, so I thought that I'd read it out loud, well, whisper it out loud, and it's so boring that I'm pretty sure it'll get somebody to sleep. It's about to put me to sleep. It's about 11 o'clock at night here, so I have to be quiet anyway as people are sleeping. I think I'm going to start with fatigue because that is pretty much all I'm feeling right now. Yeah, I'm really tired and this book just helps me feel more tired. Medicines that affect driving. Okay. Medicines that affect driving. Some painkillers. Some medicine for blood pressure, nausea, allergies, inflammations, and fungal infections. Tranquilizers, sedatives, and sleeping pills. Some diet pills. Some cold and flu medicines. Reduce the risks. Read the label and information provided with the medication. Don't drive if you take a medicine that can affect your driving skills. Never take someone else's prescription medication as you don't know how it might affect you. Ask the doctor or chemist about driving when using the medication. Fatigue. Fatigue accounts for about 20% of road deaths in New South Wales. Driver fatigue is particularly dangerous because it affects everyone, no matter how experienced a driver you are. What is driver fatigue? Fatigue is a term used to describe the feeling of being sleepy or tired or exhausted. This is your body's way of telling you that you need to stop and rest. The best way to avoid driver fatigue is to make sure you have plenty of sleep before you set off. The only way to treat driver fatigue once you have already started driving is to stop and rest until you are refreshed. Facts about fatigue. Fatigue fact 1. Fatigue is associated with the hours when you would normally be asleep. The risk of having a fatal fatigue crash is 4 times greater between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. because this is when your body is programmed to be sleeping. Your temperature falls and your blood pressure drops so that at night and to some extent during the afternoon, your ability to perform tasks can be severely impaired. This includes your driving ability. Your natural sleep pattern causes this type of fatigue, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. So if you drive at night or early in the morning, your risk of driver fatigue is increased. The average person needs about 8 hours sleep each night to function normally. Teenagers need even more. When you reduce the number of hours you sleep at night, you start to accumulate what is called a sleep debt. The only way to treat your sleep debt is by sleeping. Fatigue fact 3. Fatigue is caused by how long you have been awake. After being awake for 17 hours, the risk of driver fatigue is greatly increased. Fact 4. risk of driver fatigue increases with the amount of time you have spent driving. To reduce, you should aim to stop for 15 minutes every 2 hours. But remember, the only cure for fatigue is a good night's sleep. Signs of driver fatigue. Driver fatigue severely impairs your concentration and judgment. It slows your reaction time. In fact, some of the effects of fatigue are as dangerous as the effects of alcohol on your driving. As you drive, watch for early warning signs of driver fatigue. Yawning. Oh my god, it's gonna make me yawn. Poor concentration. Tired or sore eyes. Restlessness. Drowsiness. Slow reactions. Boredom. Feeling irritable. Making fewer and larger steering corrections. Missing road signs. Having difficulty staying in the lane. If you feel tired and you notice these signs, it is time to stop, revive, survive. Regular breaks every 2 hours will help avoid fatigue. Tips on avoiding driver fatigue. Get plenty of sleep before starting off. Avoid starting a long drive at the end of the day. Avoid driving between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. or when you would normally be asleep. Share the driving if you can. Aim to stop every 15 minutes or stop for 15 minutes every 2 hours. Pull over and stop when you notice the warning signs of fatigue. Have light snacks rather than fatty, heavy foods. Avoid too much coffee or sweet soft drinks. Drink plenty of water. Dehydration can cause fatigue. Stay away from alcohol at all costs. Stop before you're tired. A micro-sleep is a brief and unintended loss of consciousness. It is characterized by head snapping, nodding, or closing your eyes for more than a couple of seconds. Micro-sleeps occur when you try to stay awake to perform a task such as driving and can last from a few seconds to a few minutes. During a 4-second micro-sleep, a car traveling at 100 kilometers an hour would travel more than 110 meters while completely out of the driver's control. Community driver, reviver. During peak holiday travel periods such as Christmas, Easter and holiday long weekends, almost 100 community driver reviver sites operate throughout New South Wales. These are places to take a break during a long journey and have a free cup of tea or coffee. passengers from hitting other occupants. In the event of a crash, a seatbelt slows your body down and puts the crash force on the stronger parts of your body. You are much more likely to be killed or seriously injured in a car in a crash if you do not wear a seatbelt. The driver is responsible. Drivers are responsible for all passengers being properly restrained in a seatbelt or approved child restraint. There are fines and demerit points for a driver who is not wearing a seatbelt or who fails to ensure that passengers use seatbelts where available. Passengers aged 16 years and over who do not use an available seatbelt will also be fined. Child restraints. There are legal requirements for children under 16 years to use approved seatbelt or child restraints. Refer to Section 5 in the General Road Rules. Child restraints provide excellent protection. Always use an approved child restraint exactly as the manufacturer recommends. Never put the seatbelt around both of you and a child on your lap. The child could be easily crushed even during heavy braking. Don't carry your child in your arms. In a crash, the child can be crushed, thrown around the vehicle interior or out of the vehicle. Children up to 7 years old must be in approved child restraint or booster seat suitable for their age and size. Refer to the manufacturer's instructions. Children should be given priority for available seat belts. See Section 5, something. Children in standard seat belts. From March the 1st, 2010, all children under the age of 7 are required to travel in a standard Australian approved child restraint suitable for their age and size. All children under the age of 7 must travel in the rear seat of a vehicle with 2 or more children under the age of 7. With 2 or more rows. A child between the ages of 4 to 7 must travel in the rear seat of a vehicle unless all available seating positions have been used by children of a lesser age in a child restraint. Booster cushions used with a lap-only seatbelt must have child harnesses. Never used a booster with a lap seatbelt alone. What type of child restraint to use? Approved child restraints have standards Australia label displayed. Child restraints are available in a range of styles to suit children of different sizes. Restraints are available for children up to 32 kilograms and or 10 years old. All child restraints should be professionally fitted by an authorized safety restraint fitter. Passenger safety. The influence of passengers. Passengers can have a positive influence in your vehicle by helping you to identify hazards and risky situations. They can change CDs or act as a navigator when you are traveling somewhere new. 2 or more passengers, however, may have a negative influence and affect your driving. The noise and behavior of passengers can distract you from the task of driving. Some passengers may encourage you to take risks like speeding or breaking road rules and try to press you into high-risk behavior. Is it your responsibility to drive safely and to obey road rules? It is your responsibility. This may mean limiting the number of passengers you carry to ensure you are in control. You may also discuss your expectations with your passengers. I would just be like, guys, don't be douchebags. Overcrowding is dangerous. Is it dangerous and illegal to have too many people in your car? For example, people sitting on the floor or on other people's laps. All passengers should be seated and wearing seat belts or other restraints. Learner drivers, B1 and B2 license holders are not allowed to carry anyone who is not wearing a seat belt or not using a child restraint. A driver must not drive with a person in the driver's lap. Keeping inside a vehicle. A person must not travel with any part of their body outside a window or door or the vehicle unless the person is the driver and is giving a hand signal for changing direction, stopping or slowing. The driver must not drive with a passenger on the vehicle or with any part of the passenger's body outside the vehicle. Sharing the road. Everyone who uses New South Wales roads to drive, ride or walk has a responsibility to share the road with others. By respecting the needs of all road users, you can help make our roads safer for everyone. Considering others. As road users, we need to consider others and understand that we all make mistakes. If somebody does something that startles or annoys you, keep calm and maintain your self-control. You must not respond in a threatening or aggressive manner. This kind of behavior is often called road rage. Road rage is dangerous and illegal. If somebody is aggressive towards you, remain calm and do nothing to aggravate the situation. Sharing the road with pedestrians. Pedestrians have a right to share the road. As a driver, you are legally required to give way to a pedestrian at crossings and when turning at intersections. However, you should always be prepared to stop for pedestrians. Particularly vulnerable pedestrians are the elderly, children, pedestrians affected by alcohol or drugs. Remember to drive slowly and be prepared to stop when driving near pedestrian areas. This is particularly important at and near pedestrian crossings or traffic lights. Whenever you see children walking or playing, near hotels where there are likely to be pedestrians who have been drinking, near shopping centres and other busy places where more people are likely to be crossing the road, near schools, particularly when children are arriving and leaving, where there are parked cars or stopped buses, especially school buses, at intersections where pedestrians cross. Pedestrians have the right of way into which you are turning. When are pedestrians at risk? More than half of pedestrian fatalities occur in darkness or at dusk. Take extra care to watch out for pedestrians at these times. Remember to drive slowly and be prepared to stop. When visibility is poor, such as rain, fog, at night, or dawn, or dusk, as pedestrians are not always aware of how hard it is to see them. When entering or leaving a driveway, you must give way to passengers and other vehicles. When approaching a stationary bus or light rail vehicle, when passengers are getting off or crossing the road. When pedestrians cross the road away from pedestrian crossings. When pedestrians cross in large crowds. When pedestrians gather near and around licensed premises or specialised events. Pedestrians, particularly children, are at greater risk when drivers are reversing. Take care when reversing and never reverse further than necessary. Safety tips for pedestrians. Cross the road at pedestrian facilities such as crossings and traffic lights. Before crossing the road, think about whether an approaching driver can see you. Before crossing the road, stop, look, and listen. Never assume that an approaching vehicle will stop for you. Avoid crossing between parked cars or in front of buses. Keep to the left side on shared bicycle/pedestrian paths. Wear light or bright coloured clothing at night or in reduced visibility conditions. Children up to 8 years old should hold an adult's hand on the footpath, in the car park or when crossing the road. Children up to 10 years old should be supervised in the traffic environment and hold an adult's hand when crossing the road. If you have been drinking alcohol, arrange to get a lift. If you do not cause a traffic accident or unnecessarily obstruct or unreasonably obstruct the path of a road user or other pedestrian. Pedestrians must use footpaths and nature strips where they are provided. Where this is impractical, pedestrians must keep to the side of the road and walk in the direction that faces oncoming traffic. Pedestrians affected by alcohol are one of the most common groups involved in road crashes, especially if they're wearing black at night time. Sharing the road with motorized wheelchairs. A person using a motorized wheelchair, 3 and 4 wheeled, that cannot travel over 10 kilometers an hour as a mobility aid is defined as a pedestrian. When sharing the road with motorized wheelchairs, be aware that they have the same rights and responsibilities as pedestrians and must follow the same rules. Motorized wheelchairs may be difficult to see because they are generally below the height of an average pedestrian. Although they move faster than pedestrians, they are much slower than motorized vehicles using the road. As a driver, you should allow for these differences and take extra care. Sharing the road with motorcyclists. Motorcyclists have the same rights as everyone else to use the road. However, motorcyclists are not well protected as occupants of other vehicles. Motorcycles do not have the body of a car around them to protect them from the impact of a crash, and they are less stable because they only have 2 wheels. Motorcycle riders are 20 times more likely to be killed in a road crash than car safe distance from motorcycles as they may need to avoid hazards such as flying durbers, oil slicks and poor road conditions. Allow extra time for them to stop. Look for motorcycles before you turn or proceed at intersections. Look out for motorcycles in slow-moving traffic as they can maneuver faster. Okay, so it's nearly been like half an hour. I didn't really want to make it too much longer, so I think I might stop there because I don't think you guys really want to know about sharing the road with.